What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of View for Demon Slayer Season 3. This is episode 10, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Yep, and it is confirmed that this is the penultimate episode of the season, and next week's episode is confirmed to be at least a 70-minute long season finale.
Yeah. So I guess, like, Season 2.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's 11 episodes, but next week's episode is definitely the longest of all the episodes they released throughout the entirety of this series. I mean, it's 70 minutes long, is like literally movie length. So, I mean, I was curious on like how many episodes there were, but now they finally confirmed it just earlier today after today's episode released. But yeah, so in this episode, we finally get to see a bit of backstory with Mitsuri, who's of course the love Hashira. I mean, her backstory was all right. I mean, it's not as like emotionally impactful as Muichiro was. It mainly just showcases like that she was, that she was like overwhelmingly physically powerful at such a young age, and of course she has like some drama over her not being able to find a suitor for herself.
Yeah, I guess apparently she's insecure about her appearance and her physical strength.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't mind it at first, but it seemed that that most people were bothered by her appearance and of course her physical strength. So she tried to dye her hair black and of course try to hide her physical strength, but even that, she admits that she's basically just lying to herself. She'd rather find someone that appreciates who she is rather than pretending who she's not.
Yeah, I've noticed a pattern where they just kind of do this with every new character they introduce in Demon Slayer. Every time there's like a fight or like a life or death situation, we just get their entire backstory.
Yeah, and of course there are also some hints that I don't know, it seems like they're hinting at some relationship between her and the Snake Hashira.
I guess so.
Maybe, but
yeah, I mean, because they have some scene, I guess, where he gives her like socks that match her hair color.
Yeah, it's her signature green striped socks that she currently wears, and of course, the Snake Hashira mentions that if her socks end up ripping or tearing, or she loses them, he'll go out and buy new ones for her again. But that's about it. But majority of this episode was her fighting the hatred demon, and of course the Ubisoft, definitely showcasing its. I mean, the animation quality is still amazing, by the way.
You mean Ufotable?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. Ufotable, like, definitely, showcasing their animation style like they always do. Especially like, I guess you can, I don't know, like in terms of like penultimate animation style, I felt like the penultimate style animation from the Entertainment District arc was a lot more explosive than this one. I mean, not taking away like this episode. I felt like it just didn't feel as impactful as the last season was.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell they didn't really. Yeah, I mean, in comparison to that, it felt like with that they just kind of they really went all out. But here it's just, I mean, it's still fine. But I mean, I guess what's more impressive about it is just the movement. But I mean, aside from that, there's not really too much there in comparison.
I mean, they're mainly just trying to adapt what was in the manga at the time. So they did. I believe they did the best that Ufotable could in that certain situation and try to enhance it. Pretty much beyond another level, which is, I mean, I'm still amazed like how Ufotable does this stuff and with this kind of material. So I definitely still have to give Ufotable props for that. But yeah, it's I mean, initially Mitsuri has trouble fighting against the hatred demon to the point where she nearly like gets killed from like what was it, the like that sound burst that he gives out, but she's able to reflect that by tensing up her muscles in her body, and that's of course before Tanjiro and the others try to save her from being hit by the hatred demon.
Yeah. I was wondering if I'm guessing Tanjiro's eardrums are still ruptured from that one attack from one of the previous episodes.
Yeah, I mean
they don't really bring that up again.
I mean, it's possible they might bring that up again, like after the fight's over. Obviously, like in each instance, like after each fight, Tanjiro like goes back to the butterfly house to recuperate for several weeks or months or whatever, how long he's gonna have to recuperate after this. Considering that, like, if he does have a ruptured eardrum, it might take him even longer to recover from that.
Right. Yeah. So the fight they kind of try to, like you said, they try to save Mitsuri.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's kind of they try to go after the I forget what the really small one was called, like
it's the demon's main form.
Yeah, like his main body. They try to go after him. They try to find him, and he's like hiding himself in some kind of like a moving tree, I guess.
Yeah, it's because of the hatred demon is using his wooden dragon things to hide his location, and of course Tanjiro with his strong sensibilities, he's able to track him down in the middle of the forest, and so Tanjiro, Nezuko, and Genya managed to cut the tree to try to cut him down, but of course he is, due to his small stature, he manages to squirm away again, and we do finally get an answer about why Genya looks like a demon. It's because he can temporarily gain their abilities by devouring them.
Yeah, which he brings it up after he tries to like eat through the tree to get to the demon. Yeah, so I guess it explains, of course, why he looks the way he does, and why I guess he was able to take so much abuse.
Yeah, I mean, but it's still like I don't know if like how he really how this ability came about. I mean, you could just like, and he said he can just like consume a demon, and then he can get their abilities for whatever, how long he can handle it.
I guess yeah, I mean, I guess maybe they'll go more into it later because they just brought it up in this episode.
Yeah. But yeah, they do seem to give some amount of hints about the smaller demon's personality, about why the way he acts the way that he does. Is supposedly like in his past life he was accused for something, or supposedly he lied or whatnot. Well, we do get a little bit of the smaller demon's backstory. Just briefly, I guess you could barely see flashbacks of like him being accused of someone. I guess he lied over something, but he says he never lied to anyone in his life. So I guess you could say it's part of the reason why he acts the way that he does. But we probably won't get like a full explanation if unless they explain this in the next episode.
I'm sure they will. They'll probably go fully into his backstory too, because they did that, and they also did that in the previous season with Daki and
Gyutaro.
Yeah, Gyutaro. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it's become a little bit annoying because I've noticed that this is something Demon Slayer has been consistently doing. Every time there's a fight, there's a new demon that gets introduced. Sometime during the fight, we need to learn all about who they are, all their backstory, and then same thing with any of these new Hajiras that get introduced into the plot. We don't know anything about them, but then they get like their entire backstory in an episode, or and that could mean they're maybe or maybe not they're going to die in the next episode or something. But I don't know. I just kind of find it a little bit. I wish they kind of had another way to go about doing that, because it's just like it feels like it's the same thing each new arc. They decide to go more into a certain character. I feel like they could have done that a different way, or develop that character another way, because it's really predictable at this point the way they handle that.
I feel like the execution in the characters' backstories in this season in particular is, I don't know, I feel like it's the weakest compared to the Mugen Train and the Entertainment District arc, because in like I said, in Mugen Train you can we know Rengoku's backstory of like how he has like a strained relationship with his father after his mother's death, and then of course in the Entertainment District arc we see the tragic backstory with Daki and Gyutaro. However, in this one, I don't. It's a bit hit or miss. I feel like Muichiro's backstory was the strongest in this season, but for Mitsuri's in particular, I mean it's fine, but it's not. I don't know if like it's not as powerful, like emotionally powerful as like all the other ones were in the past seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, so this one kind of ends with them, of course, Nezuko potentially like trying to attack the tiny demon, and I mean I don't know, maybe she's gonna use burning blood on him or something. But as far as we know, they can't really cut him or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there was one point where Tanjiro nearly decapitated the smaller demon because he was utilizing both the Hinokami Kagura and Nezuko's blood, but he couldn't finish the job because of the hatred demon showing up at the last second.
Yeah, but I don't really have too much else to say about the episode. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
It's okay. I mean, Mitsuri's backstory was decent in showcasing like her insecurities about her strength and her abilities at the time, and her wanting to gain a suitor for herself. But it just not. I don't know. It's not as strong as like Muichiro's was a few episodes ago. I mean, and plus I'm curious about like her relationship with the Snake Hashira, unless they decide to continue on with that in future episodes. So, I mean, we'll have to see. But in terms of like this being the penultimate episode, I don't feel like it's if it wasn't as strong as like the penultimate episode as the Entertainment District arc was, because it left us in a massive cliffhanger at that point, and of course it showcased like a small little epilogue at the end. But now with next week's episode being 70 minutes long, I'm curious of like how that's going to end up playing out. Obviously, we're going to see the finale of them taking down the upper four demon, and possibly we'll get some hints of what's going to happen possibly by the next season.
Yeah, guys. But that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.